Star's rocking out.
That, I still need to change the intro, but that's good for now.
Yeah, it's good enough.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to, well, what episode are we on?
I don't think we're worrying about episodes anymore. What episode number?
According to Spotify, we're on episode 33. According to me, I don't fucking know. You're listening to or watching WWE Mat Chat, the official podcast of the WWE community on Reddit, and I'm joined here as always with Torn.
Hello.
Been a while. Again, we start every episode like that. It's been a while.
We struggle with the consistency, and it's not because for no other reason, just because life has been so crazy for both of us. Yeah. Just had a lot going on, but now we're putting our foot down. Want to get consistent and keep bringing you the content as often as possible because there's a lot going on in wrestling, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm in my last semester of school, so things are going to start settling down for me. So see how things go.
Yeah. Okay, I got a question for you. This is completely off topic and not related to anything we're talking about today, but I want to get more tattoos because it's time. So I've been debating on getting a WWE tattoo.
Okay.
And I've been debating on whether I want to get Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley. Those are my two top choices right now.
But what would you get though? What would be you're not there for not portraits?
Yeah, like a portrait of some kind. I would see if I could find an artist who could they could do them in an anime style. Yeah, right. And then I'd probably do it right up here.
You should do both. A clash between Rhea and Liv.
They did have that. They had
a huge feud for a long time.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. Especially if they did it in the anime style. There's just so many right now. Like Stephanie Becaire is awesome, and I know she's going to be a superstar. Alexa Bliss, obviously. So it's but I think Rhea and Liv, Liv, right? Liv and Rhea, my top two. Got my signed Liv up there. So.
Do it in a Dragon Ball Z style.
Nah, I'm not a big Dragon Ball fan. Yeah, I like the style. But I'm just not a big Dragon Ball fan. But I'm trying to decide what I want to do. But if you have any suggestions, if you have an opinion, drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think I should do. And I'll get one. Probably up here. Probably up there. So I got to finish sleeving myself out.
And if you don't give us your opinion, you are cursed.
I love it. Oh, my goodness.
It leads us into our first topic.
Hey,
Danhausen.
Look at that segue.
You're watching a lot of Danhausen now.
Yeah.
I've seen Danhausen for years on the indies and also in AEW, all that stuff. We can all agree. I know this was a couple weeks ago, and we haven't been on, so we just want to talk about it. We can all agree that his debut fell flat.
Yes, absolutely.
That's an understatement. But his turnaround since then has been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just the fact that even within the first couple hours after his debut, he got pretty much booed out of the arena. Within hours, he was already embracing it and turning it around on social media, saying how much everyone cheered for him when they really didn't, and everything. It was amazing. But then that next night on Raw, when we saw him come out, and that was the pivotal moment where it was either going to make or break him as a character on WWE, because a lot of WWE faithfuls and WWE fans that have watched wrestling over the years that are strictly just WWE are sick of these just straight comedic characters. I mean, we have seen R-Truth, Ron Killings, which has been one of the biggest over the years, but a lot of them don't buy into it as much as they should, and the characters die out. Yeah. And we've seen it with R-Truth, with the Miz's comedic stuff sometimes. But that next night when he cursed Dom into leading into Dom losing the IC title, which was a perfect
good
thing. Yeah.
So good.
And then they built on that with his interactions with the Miz now. I'm loving it.
Well, and then now New Day.
Yeah.
New Day and Grayson Waller. Yeah. So No, it's because remember, like, so Elimination Chamber, right? The debut, because for weeks they were doing the whole what's in the box thing.
Yeah.
Teasing this thing, and all these theories going around, like Jericho's going to be in the box, or like some big return of some kind. And then it was Danhausen. And Danhausen came out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, me, Rachel, we're watching this. Who? I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I follow a lot of the other wrestling promotions, like I do WWE. Like, I'll catch things on social and stuff, but so I was like, I've heard of him. I've seen his like face, once in a while, but I was like, who is this guy? Like this. And I think the thing is a lot of the, I don't want to say casual WWE fans, but I think a majority of the WWE fans that don't follow all the other promotions were same thing, right? They were like, who is this? Because that's why he fell so flat. And, I think a lot of people do say it was a missed opportunity for a big reveal of some kind, right? That furthered a story with being in the box. But like you said, dude came back, and like again that day, like how he started turning stuff around on social, I was already starting to get hooked on him. I was like, okay, this guy's kind of fun. And then Raw really solidified it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I need Danhausen every week. And then he started showing up Raw, SmackDown. And honestly, I can't get enough of Danhausen right now. He is hilarious. And I think it's because a lot of the guys that try to do the humor, right? A lot of characters, it ends up being kind of cheesy and corny because it's too hard, right? Like R-Truth has that good blend where I think he's pretty good about it, because you expect when you see Truth come on, you're expecting that
something stupid,
have something like he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't have a clue, right? He's bringing a ladder out during a Rumble match or something.
When he got tagged into the Rumble by Dom.
And you have like things like that, but like you expect that. And I think when other people try to do that and it's out of normal character for them, it's kind of like, it feels cringe. Yeah. But Danhausen leans into that old school, quirky, a horror movie, like campy feel.
Yeah.
And he owns it so well because he doesn't just do it on the show. He carries it across social media. I mean, his responses to things, the way he posts and stuff, it's all in character. And because I really just do believe that is Danhausen, right? That is just who he is at this point. Because I've been watching tons of stuff on him, interviews. I watched his interview with Conan O'Brien because apparently Conan O'Brien was one of his biggest influences on his character.
Yeah.
And he just thinks of himself as an evil Conan. But then also he said like The Simpsons was a huge inspiration for him, and Krusty the Clown.
You can see him pulling from other like wrestlers too from back in the day. Yep. The way he mispronounces people's names like Carlito did.
Yep.
Like you mentioned off air before we started when he did the stuff in the conventions with APA.
Oh my god,
it's Jibble and Ron Simon and instead of Ron Simmons. It's he pulls from different things to make his character, which I think gets fans a little more like buy into it a little more because
that's those throwbacks.
Yeah, they're things that they've seen before. But going back to his debut, I know he got booed, all that stuff, but we see Danhausen acting like he's the biggest guy ever.
Yes.
He got booed out of his debut, and he comes in the next day. He was like, everyone loved me. I need my,
here's my demands. Yep. WrestleMania. I want a blimp.
Yes. And he wants to be on the Sphere, and he buys into that. And that's why I think the debut actually kind of worked a little bit for him.
It created conversation. It created buzz. Yeah.
But then he, his character in general twists things all the time into what he wants to be the best. And he was like, okay, those are cheers for me.
The pop he gets now when he shows up is crazy. Like, and I think what they've done really well too, and we talked about this a little bit the other night, how he's coming out now during shows, during commercial breaks. Yeah. Doing like the t-shirts, and now he's got the Danhausen?
The Danhausen.
Yep. And he it's stuff like that I think is going to help WWE bring back that live experience, right? Yeah. That like when you go, like what's the point of going live if you can just watch it on TV and get the same exact experience? Yeah. Now, granted, going live is completely different. There is a certain atmosphere, especially when you're with all the fans and everything. It's different. You can't explain it. You got to do it. If you haven't been, go. I highly recommend it. I want to go when they come here.
Not in this economy.
Yeah, bro. That's another thing we'll talk about sometime. TKO, what are you doing? You're isolating all your fans anyway. Yep. But that's the thing, right? That's what you want when you go to an event. you want them coming out and doing stuff during the break and throwing out t-shirts and stuff like that. Gets people hyped. That gets them bought in.
And that's the thing too. You've been to live events, Raw, SmackDown, stuff like that. You've never been to a non-televised event.
Oh yeah, no, a house show or anything. Yeah,
non-televised events are a little bit more interactive with the fans because the wrestlers, can be themselves a little more.
Yeah,
but at televised events, like, you have that downtime between matches and the commercial breaks, and it's just dead. You're just sitting there like, what am I doing? You're on your phone, you're losing interest. And that's why I think a lot of the fans, you see crowds just die.
Yeah, it's funny because like there's certain wrestlers that do carry that on well during the live shows. They do stuff during the commercial breaks to keep the crowd engaged. But it's funny, I think it was Chelsea Green the other day was talking. I could be wrong, but she was doing an interview and talking about like, because she did a lot of house shows and a lot of indie stuff, and talking about the difference between that and like now being on TV, and how being on TV kind of changes your approach as a wrestler because you're not performing for the crowd anymore. You're performing for the cameras. Yeah. You have to be conscious of what camera's on, where you're looking and what you're doing. So your performance kind of loses a little bit of that audience engagement. Like you're saying, right? Like when you don't have to worry about the cameras, they can do what they want. Like I've seen the clips, right? Like Finn Balor and those guys, like when they're doing house shows and they're not on camera, they're so much more engaged because again, they can do that. They can draw in the crowd more and feed the crowd. And I think that's a balance that I hope this new generation can start to find. I feel like NXT, they're trying to do that a little bit, right? The NXT guys like Trick Williams and Javon and those guys are trying to do a little bit more of bringing the crowd in, like catering to the crowd as well as catering to the cameras. Like Oba, I mean, those guys, like they're doing much better at connecting with the audience. And then the old schools too. Old schools.
And I think that comes from, you mentioned Chelsea, and a lot of these younger guys that spent time in the indies. They had to, promote themselves by interacting with the fans more. And we've seen over the years, some of these older guys that never went into the indies. John Cena didn't really wrestle in the indies much. Batista, Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, none of them. Well, Cody Rhodes more after WWE before he came back. But they didn't really wrestle in the indies as much. So they didn't really get that feel for interacting and building that story with the fans to get them to want to come back to the next show because fans aren't seeing them on TV. It has to go word of mouth and people talking on socials now. Yeah. So,
I mean, because I've been watching, like you were saying, I've been watching a lot of Danhausen stuff, just trying to like learn who this guy is because he's so entertaining. But watching his house shows on YouTube and stuff, and the way that the crowd gets into him coming out, like you can tell he's a crowd favorite at these shows. And then also, again, the interaction he has with the crowd, like right during things like he's, going to like, he's picking the guy up. He's like looking at the crowd. He's talking to them. He's doing things. He's jumping off the side and talking to them and getting their feedback. Like, so it is that very much the crowd is bought. And I think that's what Danhausen's done really well since he's come to WWE is he just connects really well with so many different people. He hasn't wrestled a single minute since he's been here, but people love him because again, he's bringing that engagement, that personality, that weird randomness that we love about wrestling, right? Like we love the stories, we love the drama, we love the amazing spots, but like there's, we talk about it often, like the Attitude Era and like different times throughout WWE's history is those quirky random moments are the ones you're going to talk about for the rest of your life. It's like, oh, you remember when so-and-so did this? And it's just the funny little things that happen, right? Like, and I think Danhausen is going to help bring that back and also hopefully get other wrestlers. And I mean, he's already getting other wrestlers involved in it, right? Like the Bella Twins spot backstage and everything.
God,
like those little
about them.
But like just little things like that, right? The little interactions with Nick Aldis, with Adam Pearce and all this stuff. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
One thing I do like about Danhausen's character in general is how much he buys into it and how much he makes it like his own, his personality. Because you've seen like wrestlers that have and characters that have like catchphrases, little things, and they go over the top, screaming their catchphrase, and he's just like, "You are cursed," and he doesn't, and it's just like, it's just built into who he is, and you don't feel like he's forcing it.
Yep. Very nice. Very evil.
Very nice. Very evil.
And love that Danhausen. That's the other one. Love that Danhausen.
Yeah. Everything's and this. I cannot. I swear to God, if they do not do Spherehausen in Vegas
Oh
for
my
Mania.
gosh, they need to do something.
And
yeah.
he needs to be at Mania because they need to have Sabrina Carpenter.
They need something,
sing
man.
him out.
Yep, they need to. Even if it's just like a random thing where he doesn't wrestle at all, she just sings him out. He comes out, acts like he's the main event, and then just leaves. Like that would be enough, right? Like,
yep.
I think. And then the other thing too. So obviously, wrestling fans, we speak with our money, right? Like when we're behind someone, we speak with our money. And the wrestling fans have spoken, and his merch has been the top selling merch since he debuted.
And that's how we got Jey Uso as a champion, because we bought his merch.
I mean, he only has 2 shirts right now, and they're selling like crazy.
Yeah.
And
I love how he throws them out, and then he's like, "You need now everyone else go buy them."
Yep. You can go buy them right outside.
Yep.
Give me all your human monies. all your human money. But hey, listen, if you don't know much about Danhausen, or you just want more Danhausen, check out his YouTube. I think it's that Danhausen is his YouTube, and he does vlogs. He goes to all the conventions because he's a big convention guy. So he goes and he's at conventions and does appearances, and you can see like all of his interviews. Like that's another cool thing right now is he's getting all these interviews with all these like wrestling podcasts and guys. Like I would love to have him on Mat Chat, bro. Could you imagine Danhausen on here? But no, go if you want more Danhausen, follow his YouTube because he's got so much fun stuff on there. He's a lot of CM Punk interaction too because he finds him at the conventions.
Pepsi Phil.
Pepsi
Phil still owes him $17.
Apparently, they've reconciled this because he's gotten enough money from Pepsi Phil now.
Yeah.
One episode he had Pepsi Phil buy him a bunch of comic books that were like thousands of dollars each.
Yep.
And so he's giving rights back to Pepsi Phil now, so Pepsi Phil can use his finishing move.
Yep. And then his not to bring up another promotion, but Billy Gunn's kids, his sons, the Ass Boys. He's the one that actually pretty much created that name for them, the Ass Boys. And it was great. And then when they do it at conventions, it's freaking hilarious.
Nah, he's great though. I've really enjoyed that. And that's been a breath of fresh air, honestly. It's something that WWE hasn't really had. I think we've been missing, like we've had some good humor, but we've been really missing that just like ridiculous over the top, like what is this guy? Like it's just it's fun.
The fact that they can take that, because we've seen the humor with Ron and all that stuff, Ron Killings, but that's pretty much what it is. He would come out one week, do something funny, do his little humor, and then next week we wouldn't see him. With Danhausen, it's a character where they're building on what he's doing, and that humor is carrying from week to week, from show to show. You have Dom, you have the New Day on Raw, you have the Miz now with Jelly Jam. So the fact that they're able to build on that humor and not just let it be a one and done sideshow type thing is, I can't wait to see what they go.
Yeah, tying him into the storylines has been fun because even if it's just like this element of chaos in these serious storylines, it's like it's something, but it's also kind of like weaving them all together in some weird way too. Because like Danhausen's starting to reference other storylines with other people and stuff, so he's like he's kind of bridging the gaps and just doing his own little thing. He's trying to get his own TV show now. He's trying to take over Miz TV.
Yeah, Miz TV.
Danhausen TV. Yep. Yeah. So
I still, the last thing I want to say is I love the way every segment of his ends. When somebody getting ready to yell at him and then he's just gone.
Yeah. He's Batman.
And then there's the first one had me cracking up and I did not stop. When Finn, JD, and Dom were like talking, and then they look, and then JD's like, "He's a Batman."
So good.
But
the other one, sorry, the other night. Speaking of him disappearing, the Cannonhausen night when he went to run off stage and he went the wrong way, and he was still on stage.
I don't know what he said.
It's something like my mic is still on or something like that. He like runs around the wrong way. Oh my gosh, it was And I don't know if that was planned or not, but it was funny.
Knowing him, it probably wasn't because he's not used to where he's supposed to go. So
big stages and stuff too. But anyway, that was
going from someone we care about with
man
to people that are disappointing us. There's champions that we have right now that I've lost interest in. Not only the character, but I'm losing faith in what WWE is doing with titles that have meant something in the past.
Yeah. Or just, even if they haven't meant something in the past, just in general, like not holding up the prestige of a title.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because titles are supposed to be you're the king or queen of that mountain. You've accomplished something, right? Like whether it's a mid-card, championship belt, whatever it is, like you've conquered the rest of the roster to get to this point. So you are badass. Like you are a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, they definitely haven't been, it hasn't felt that way.
Right.
I mean, we've talked before, like week after week, again, no shade on the people themselves, except for one champion. I think you know who I'm talking about. But like overall, like Julia, for example, I don't think she's a terrible wrestler, right? Like I know she's got prestige and she's got credibility, and this isn't her fault, what they've done with her character.
Yeah.
Right? Like they haven't written her well. They haven't given her the opportunity to show off who she is. And so like the belt, she hasn't really done a whole lot with it. So like, I'm not really getting behind it, cheering for, right? Like when certain people have the belt, like Rhea Ripley, when she had the belt, you were behind her because she conquered that. She came through and she was strong, right? Chelsea Green, when Chelsea Green had the belt, she was fantastic because she worked it into her character. It became part of her persona and she pushed it to something new, right? Even Becky Lynch with the belt, I think she did a great job because she just carries that arrogance so well about her. But again, it's making the belt seem like there's something to hold. There's something you need to have and everybody else wants it. And
I know the women's mid-card titles, the US title, the IC title, are fairly new, couple years, but the prestige of the US and IC title in the men's division over the years has just been something that was the next stepping stone. You knew the person that was the IC champion was good enough to be in that spot. And they, were there week after week on TV, week after week, defending, in these storylines, all that stuff.
Who is the US champion right now?
Carmelo Hayes.
That's right, Carmelo. Okay.
Yeah.
Which he's done a good job.
Yep.
He's come around. I wasn't a big fan of his, but he has, I think, working with The Miz on his character and performance helped him a lot. Because again, he actually enjoy him now. His personality, his wrestling's great.
Oh yeah,
and, he's been doing a good job. And then the IC title, it was Ilya. I loved Ilya.
No, the IC title was Dom. The US title.
US title was Ilya. Yeah, that's right. The IC title, Dom. And Dom's kind of getting stale to me.
I think we're leading up to, and I hope they do, a hair versus mask match. And I think we're going to see Dom's character change. Judgment Day is going to end, obviously, because that's just where they're leading up to. But I think he's going to lose in a hair versus mask match because we'll never see Penta lose his mask. That's just not only is it his personality, his character, his whole career, that mask makes money.
Yeah. I mean, look, just look behind you. Look behind you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How many Penta masks are there? 4?
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, yeah, 4, and then two Rey Mysterio and a Rey Phoenix.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, I think that's going to be the next step for Dom, because I got to be honest with you, when he first started with Rey, his dad, back years ago during COVID, or before COVID, right before COVID, I did not buy into it at all. He's going to be one and done, one match as a thing to have Rey have a match with his son.
Him breaking off and really leaning into the Eddie Guerrero essence was the best thing he's done.
Yeah,
because he's a fantastic heel. He did such a good job getting over as a heel. I mean, it's the loudest boos you've ever heard.
Oh,
and
God,
the crowd loved him. They love to hate him, right? And that's how you know you're a good heel. But yeah, I think he's done a great job. Like, he's a good wrestler, but he really has done a great job with his character. I think it's just that his character is running on too long now, right? The whole live and Dom thing. And again, you can see signs that they're starting to break it down. And I think we are going to see the end of the Judgment Day. And I think too, before Rey retires, we're going to see something significant happen between them to get Dom back in good favor of the Mysterio name, to carry that legacy on. That's my guess.
We do have a question in chat right now. Just want to sidetrack from what we're talking about, and then we'll get back on track with that. What do you guys think about Roman Reigns?
I mean, who wants to kick this off? Yeah, I didn't wear my OTC shirt tonight, but
I was an avid Roman hater for years. Absolutely hated the guy. I thought he was terrible on the mic. I thought WWE was pushing him just to push him because of his look.
And his legacy, yeah.
Because I'm not going to beat around the bush. He's a handsome dude. He is an attractive man. So I think they pushed him because of that. And I just never bought into it. Over the last 5-6 years since the tribal chief thing.
Yeah. That's about the time Rachel and I started really getting back into it, was about 6 years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah. And he started working with Paul Heyman. Like, literally, I think that night on, I think it was SmackDown, when they went backstage and they showed Roman on camera, and he was talking to the camera, and he was like, that's just, he did that Paul Heyman tagline. That's not a spoiler, or that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. When he said that, and then it panned over to have Paul Heyman, I think literally, no bullshit, that moment I flipped. I was watching it by myself, and I called my friend Stefan, who's like one of my good friends that comes over and watches wrestling all the time. But I literally called him right after. I was like, dude, did you see that? And I was losing it. And I think at that moment was when Roman's character turned around for me. And I loved it.
Yeah, I think for me, if you remember, when I first started watching wrestling again, right, it was like when that tribal chief was starting the whole bloodline. I wasn't that bought in on it. I was kind of like, it was kind of boring to me after a while. Like, I was getting tired of it. And I didn't really know much about Roman at that time. So I wasn't really super bought in. And because he wasn't doing anything, he wasn't wrestling. He was just showing up. He was just talking, never defended his titles. But when they started to make that shift with the tension between Jay and Roman, and then also Roman bringing him in with the Cody Rhodes storylines and all that stuff, that's where, for me, it really turned around. And Roman became someone I wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Especially when he lost his family, when he lost the bloodline, when he was on his own. He really showed, I think, how strong he can stand without anybody else.
Right.
And now they're bringing, his cousins back into it. So they're bringing the Usos back in. They're doing that. And so now I think we've seen that Roman can do it without help. And so now it's going to show that Roman's stronger with help, with his family.
He can carry himself, but he just can't win that title by himself. That's where I think they need to go with this. He can. I want to see him beat CM Punk, only for the fact that even if CM Punk wins it back at like Money in the Bank or SummerSlam will probably be the big one, or in the next event in Saudi if they have one. But I want to see them let him win it just so he can have that I can do it by myself moment.
Yeah. But I think, to answer your question, though, what do we think about him? I think, he's developed a lot as a character.
Yeah.
And I've been watching stuff even recently on him and just people comparing how he used to be and how he is now and how he couldn't even get on the mic, right? Like, he wasn't good on the mic. He didn't have the charisma or personality. And now, bro, the aura he has when he just walks out, he doesn't even need to talk. And he sells the presence, right? Like, so now I think he's a very strong character, and the way that he's coming back into WWE, I think now that his movie stuff is done, he's going to be more present. But I think that's another thing too, right? Like, we don't see Roman all the time, but when we do see Roman, it feels special.
Yeah.
Right? It's a big deal. It's like, oh my God, the tribal chief is here. And he really commands that presence now. So I think he's good. I love him.
Yeah, I love him to the point. Just one last thing is, when I'm watching wrestling with friends, like when I was at my friend's house for the Rumble in Mania, or almost any event, when you're with people that watch wrestling and Roman's music hits, you see people that aren't even at live events put their ones up.
Yeah.
Mania last year, I wore this shirt to Walmart the morning of
I remember that.
Yeah, it was last year, the morning of night one. And I wore this shirt because it was Mania Day. I put it on, not even thinking about it, and left. And 3 people at Walmart came up to me and were like, I love this shirt, dude. And there was one dude that kid, not even dude, it was a kid. He was with his parents, and even he walked by me and went like that. I'm like, fucking love it.
It's funny because like you say that, and I think that when I wear my OTC shirt too, that's the one I get the most interaction from people with, from wrestling fans. It's like universal, right? Like, yeah, it just has a different thing. What do you think? Do you think he could win WrestleMania?
I think he could. No, I can't English, but English is hard for me. No, I think he could.
Yeah,
and I think that's the next step in his progression, because like we said a few minutes ago, he's done it with his family. Now I think they're going to either let him do it by himself, or there's just a small part of me that thinks they could recycle the bloodline. Because you have Roman, if he wins a championship, you have the Usos as the world tag champions. You could get them all back together as champions again, and they could be on top of.
And now Jacob Fatu as the enforcer.
Yeah.
Oh, my camera just went off. I don't understand why this one goes off. Hold on, I'll be back. It's my little Osmo webcam. There we go. I think it's like a 30-minute limit or something before it shuts off. I don't know. All right, we should be back. Oh, I gotta turn my camera on in here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There next time I'll actually have my good camera hooked up. I just couldn't find my capture card for it.
Oh, I saw that on social media today. That was a fake piece of paper, but it was, CM Punk put a restraining order on Roman Reigns. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was just for socials, but I thought it was funny.
I didn't see that one.
Just to circle back real quick, champions that just don't have our attention. Julia, the MFTs with this constant loop of it's not even the tag titles that they're in a loop for. They're in a loop for the Wyatt Six lantern.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. It's just the lantern going back and forth. They need to give those titles to someone that's gonna, or a team that's gonna actually defend them and feud with other people.
It's just a feud that doesn't make sense to me, honestly. Like
it did at first because they were all in that tag team turmoil when they had all six before Tommaso Ciampa left and all that stuff.
And the Wyatts were going after people who betrayed family, right? They had they had those internal struggles with their teams, and it just kind of like I felt like it's just spiraled out of control right now. And like, what's happening, right? Like, I don't know. It's weird, but I agree. I'm not sold on those.
I mean, I want to love that they're tag team champions, but the Usos right now, they're not doing anything with them.
No, and I feel like Jay is starting to get to that point where he's getting stale. Right. Like and I know it seems like he's had, from what I understand, some personal issues and stuff that have been going on. He struggled with the championship stuff. He struggled with botching. And like, I love Jay. I thought he was great, but it does feel like he's lost some of his luster. I don't know if it's because Yeating is getting old or Jay just, I don't know. From my perspective, Jay just kind of feel like his heart's not in it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it was for a while. And then when he lost the championship and stuff, he just like kind of bottomed out. Jimmy, on the other hand, is like,
Jimmy's awesome, but
Jimmy's really come up too.
Need to do something with those titles to get him off of them for right now, because Jimmy just had his kid. So when's he coming back? We don't know.
Yeah.
So
and the last champion that we'll talk about that is not over with the fans. I'm sorry, but Jade Cargill.
I was going to talk about the women's tag titles first.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about this? We'll hit those first.
Nia Jax and
Lash Legend.
Lovely Lashes, whatever her name is. Lash Legend. Yeah.
Lash Legend. I'm just not a fan. Nia's not terrible.
No,
I think Nia did great.
Better since she
and she did great.
Came back years ago.
The solo run, right? Like she was doing really well there.
Yeah.
But I haven't been invested in them because their story again. And again, I don't think it's their fault. I think it's the way their story's been written. There just hasn't been this buy-in. There hasn't been this like real draw to the characters. Like Alexa and Charlotte, they did a phenomenal job turning Charlotte from being so disliked when she came back to being loved because of the team up with Alexa. But then also they really had a story behind them, right? These frenemies and when they're defending the titles, like we're cheering for them, right? Even like when who was it? The because who else was in that division that was going after the belt? It was because that's another thing too.
Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah. Because they had it for a while. But no, because Rhea and Io are on Raw.
Well, the women's tag titles can be defended on.
Okay, that's what's going on then. Yeah, but the Kabuki Warriors weren't bad. But again,
you had Liv and Roxanne, or Roxanne and
Raquel. Yeah. But yeah, it's just they don't have a story, and if you don't have a really good story, it's hard to buy in for people as champions, right? Like, what are you defending? Why are you defending it, right? It's like everyone has just give it back to Charlotte and Alexa. Just give it to somebody else.
I was just about to say that. Charlotte and Alexa, people were buying into them being, we're not friends, but, that whole thing. And I think they need to give it back to them so that way they can have some kind of feud with somebody.
Yeah.
Chelsea and Alba Fire.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, Chelsea and Alba Fire wouldn't be bad. Alba Fire was one of those two that, like, at first I wasn't big on her, but then with her teaming up with Chelsea, she's really become an interesting character, especially with the whole Secret Service and everything.
Before we get into the last one, I do want to just mention, as an honorable mention on champions, I didn't care about 2 months ago, Stephanie Vecquer. Like, it started getting to the point where they weren't using her enough and she wasn't on TV enough to even care about her as a champion. But they turned it around with Liv.
Oh my gosh. And the promos they've been cutting. Whoo. Yeah, it's really, but again, the story they've let them put into that, right? Stephanie and the way she talks about where she's come from and the challenges and the trials. It's helped.
As Liv said, her
mud huts. Yeah. It's really helped buy in, though, the investment of, man, I want her to keep this title.
Yeah.
Or if you're a fan of Liv, you want to see Liv take this title because she does deserve it, right? She's like put in all this work and stuff. So they've done a good job building those stories. But again, putting something behind the characters that when they win the belt, whichever one ends up with it, you're going to be invested in that person for more than, oh, cool, they have the title now, right? Like, so yeah, they've been doing a really good job with Stephanie. And that
was just one that 2 months ago I could care less about. Now I do.
Yeah. And the last one.
Jade.
Yeah.
Why does Jade have the title?
I'm sorry, but she hasn't been a great champion. Not only was she not defending for a while, but her story really died off when they kind of like it didn't do any more with the Naomi Jade thing. And then they were kind of hinting that Jade and Liv were going to have some sort of beef, but then they never really had anything.
Yeah.
And now we're back to Jade and Rhea. And I think it's because Rhea is still very over. And she kind of matches that strength of Jade. Because originally it was also looking like it might be Jordan and Jade.
That's what I was thinking.
But Jordan, I think, is still just too new to really go for a title on the roster.
And now she's injured.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, Jade just, again, no story, right? Yep. No story. And
I don't know and she botches a lot. She's not the greatest in the ring.
Yeah.
Her promos are robotic as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they have her teleprompter and she's fucking just reading it, but with no emotion behind it. But I wonder, because they always say in wrestling, your opponent can help you get over.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a good heel, your job is to get the crowd to love them, that kind of thing. Your job is to make your opponent look as good as you can. I'm wondering because we've seen a lot of rumors. We saw a lot of stuff over the last couple weeks on socials between Jade and other female superstars.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that animosity backstage and those rifts between her and other superstars are causing them to not want to help her get over or help her get better.
Maybe. I mean, I think, and I don't think that's an issue with creative, because from what it seems like, a lot of that animosity is real, based on the way that people say she acts towards others. So I really have a feeling that, it might just be the locker room is just not wanting to help her get over because, again, the wrestling industry, right? The business, it's about respect.
Yep.
Even if you don't like someone, like right with Seth Rollins and the feud he had with Punk and everything, even if they don't like each other, there's still that mutual respect of respecting the story, respecting the craft, and helping further the stories because that's the business. But it seems like she just doesn't have the respect of the locker room. And once you lose the respect of the locker room, man, that's it, right? Because those are your teammates. Those are the people that are gonna make or break you because you can't have a match without another person. And I mean, we've seen people that have real life animosity over the years put on phenomenal matches and further the story because that's what they need to do.
Really.
Yeah.
And there was rumors that Jade said back when she was with AEW that she was using wrestling as a stepping stone to become an actress.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think there's a lot of people that don't think she's taking this as seriously as she could.
Yeah. Because we know wrestlers too, right? Like if you're in it, you're in it. Like your heart needs to be in it. Like obviously you can do like Roman and some of these other guys. And once you've built up the prestige and you've built up once you've earned it, you can go on and do movies and do other things, right? Like once you've reached a certain level.
Oh, exactly. And but they learn those skills for being an actor from wrestling.
And again, those people have put in the time, right? They put in the time, they've earned the respect, and they know that at the end of the day, that's their job, that's their career, their life. That if they go off and do a movie, cool, you're gonna do. And like John Cena showed that you could go off to Hollywood and come back and still deliver fantastic story and be a fantastic wrestler, but still have a career in Hollywood, right?
I can't remember who it was, but there was a wrestler years ago that went and did some stuff in Hollywood, became an actor for a little while, that literally was talking about how they were on set. They learned, in wrestling, you have one take. You have one spot to deliver a promo, to deliver your lines, to make someone buy into your character. And they were in Hollywood doing a movie, and they were used to doing everything in one take. And then somebody was like, cut, we got to do that again. And they're like, oh, really? Not used to that. I can screw up and not get yelled at. I mean,
I think that's an underrated thing in wrestling, right? That I've really been paying attention to and respecting a lot is that side of it. Like you say, right? You've got one take, right? Like with photography, I do weddings and stuff, and you have one take to get certain moments. And while it's not as difficult anywhere near the complexity of wrestling, I understand the essence of having one take to get it right. And so in wrestling, not only do you have the acting you have to get right, you have to get the character right, you have to get the story right, you have to get the promo right, but then you also have to get the performance right. And wrestling really is a dance. Like you have to have that communication, that understanding with the other person to make sure that you help them deliver their character and the performance, and they do the same for you. So you've got the physical side of it, you've got the mental side of it, you've got the acting. So it's a lot that you can easily mess up. Like I couldn't do it. But it's a lot of respect to people that can pull it off as well as they can pull it off.
And I think that's the issue with Jade is she wants to use WWE as a stepping stone to be an actress, but she's not even being a wrestler very well.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, right? Like in wrestling, you can't just be a wrestler and not have a character.
Right. You
can't be a character and not be able to wrestle. Like you've really got to have that balance between the two, because throughout the years, if you have one and not the other, you don't last long. Right. Because
unless you're your 3 moves of wonder.
But
it's mostly the big guys I see that don't have decent moves, like a lot of moves.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of limited. I think you can't really be a high flyer if you're 300 pounds, except I will give Bronson Reed some credit on that one. He does a good, he's not super acrobatic, but he gets up there and he does some stuff. So he got that tsunami.
Our next topic, we did see years ago.
Man,
we saw Brock Lesnar try to do a shooting star press and knock himself unconscious at WrestleMania. So, I mean, big guys can't always do the high flying stuff.
No. But you're not going to be Javon Evans or Rey Mysterio.
Nope. But we did see on Monday.
This one.
our next two topics I think can go hand in hand, because on Monday Brock came out to confront Seth Rollins.
Yep. Which we kind of expected, right? Like,
because
who's Brock going to face it? Well, because it was setting up for who's Brock going to face at Mania. But yeah, Paul Heyman guy, we knew if Paul's going to bring in reinforcements after getting thrashed like he did by Seth, he's going to bring in the Beast. Like, yeah.
But then we saw Oba Femi come out and interrupt and completely just.
We were going wild watching this on the stream. It was
nuts.
Dude, when the music hit, I mean, Oba's one of those guys. He's young. He's new on the roster, on the main roster, but he's already got this presence about him. Yep, when he comes in, he's just got the walk. He's got the presence. He's a big friggin' dude. And I didn't realize that until the Rumble, how big he was when he was standing face-to-face with Brock at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, man, this dude's really big.
When Brock is kind of like looking up a little bit to him, it's like,
But man, that whole promo and Oba coming out and Oba power bombing him.
Yeah,
bro,
that was a brutal power bomb.
We were like, "There's no way he's gonna do this. There's no way." He's like, we thought, "Oh, Brock's gonna reverse this or something." And nope. Brock got dropped.
And as always, Paul Heyman delivers with the facial expressions when Brock gets demolished.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. The one thing, after all these years, Brock's been in WWE for over 20 years, off and on, minus the UFC time. But how come he can be in the ring with someone like that and still get caught on camera calling spots? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, because he was telling him,
laying on the ground and he was like, "Step on me."
Yeah.
It's like... But you saw like that raw emotion from Oba in that moment. Because he was all jacked up, doing his little like screaming thing and all that. And when Brock said that, just over the rumors we've heard over the last couple of weeks of Brock saying he doesn't want to lose until his retirement match. And now it's coming out that he never said that, and it was just there was stuff taken out of context from a conversation or something like that. But just the fact that he did that and told him to, step on him and pretty much, hey, make me look weak.
Yep.
And that in that moment you could see the tears coming, and then you literally saw one like coming down Oba Femi's cheek.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? There's moments in every wrestler's career that really kind of define their career or a moment that kind of like sets their trajectory. And, a lot of them, it has been a moment with a superstar that's given them that moment to just be them. And I think this is Oba's moment, right? That was Oba's moment. Like, Oba's been over. We love Oba. He's strong. He's a monster. We love it.
He can lose at WrestleMania at this point, and he's still going to be Oba Femi.
Because we're going to want to see him rise up and come back and win, right? Like, he's one of those that he's going to win eventually. And I'm expecting a slugfest, powerbombing, nasty match between these guys, because they are.
And the fact that they've incorporated Goldberg's chant into Obi's entrance, I'm loving that. But going back to your point too, is that defining moment, but it's not just the defining moment for Oba. It's that in his career that he was, powerbomb Brock Lesnar. It's that split second where and I think the emotion came more from, I've been doing this for so long. I've been trying to, get to where I'm at. And Brock Lesnar is willing to make himself look weak for me.
It's that moment.
I've gained that respect from
exactly.
And the guys above me.
Yep. It's that moment. Exactly. That's going to do wonders for his confidence and career in himself. You're right. Because, hey, if Brock Lesnar believes in me, even for a moment, boom, that's all you need, right? Like, you hear stories about that. You hear stories about, Taker was the person who took a moment to say something to someone, basically acknowledging that he believed in them. Right. And that's all it took, was that person. They might have been on the fence about things, right? Like Lyra Valkyria talks about that too, with like Bayley and Becky Lynch and them, like just being there to push her and believe in her. And that's what it takes, right? You got to think this young talent coming in to a legacy promotion with these people that have been in the careers for 20 plus years. It's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, and going to like just one person in particular that I think about when we talk about this is The Miz. When we've all heard the story about him getting kicked out of the locker room.
Yep.
And he spent months getting dressed instead of being in the locker room with his
closets and stuff.
He was in closets, in bathroom stalls, getting dressed, getting ready for shows. And just the fact that the Undertaker saw that he was willing to go through that and saw him still like trying to push through it to try to, make his career. And then the Undertaker just going to him one day and saying, "Hey, you're back in the locker room."
Yeah.
And not that was just it. He didn't go into, "Hey, I love you. I respect you. You're doing what you need to do." It's that one moment that, "Hey, you're back in the locker room." And that's what I think Brock did for Oba when he was just like, "Hey, step on me. Make me look." And it was that unsaid moment of make me look weak.
Yep.
You're the big guy here.
Because again, with The Miz, right? He stuck it out. He stuck with it through probably some of the worst he's experienced in his career, as far as like just being out of place and feeling like most people would quit. Yeah. And he stuck with it. And again, Taker's like, "Hey, the locker room's yours too." And the thing is, that respect of someone like that, instantly, the locker room's not going to question that decision at all. If Taker believes in that person, he's got to be okay. Right. Same thing, I think, with Brock, right? Brock's earned that prestige that if he's going to let someone have a moment like that, like Oba, again, it carries that prestige with it that like, hey, if Brock says he's okay, then he's okay. And I think the thing is, because we know, and we're starting to see this, that these guys are going to have to pass the mantle on, right? We know Brock's not going to be in it forever. He's probably going to retire soon. So we're going to need another powerhouse monster. Like, we've lost Braun Strowman, because of injuries and stuff. And so we haven't really had a big powerhouse guy. Like, I mean, we've had, again, Bronson is powerful, but his big thing is splashes and tsunamis. And it's kind of like being that. Whereas Oba is that physical force.
He's a wrestler.
Yes, that's the best way to put it. Yeah. And we haven't had that, right? Like Brock Lesnar was that. Brock Lesnar was the beast that's the physically imposing guy who comes out and everyone cowers. Oba's going to be that guy.
And I think that's what we saw on Monday was Brock saying, "This is the guy that's taking my spot.
Yep.
I believe in him."
Yep.
And I loved that. But
it was like Taker with Rhea. Sorry, going back, it was like when Taker came out with Rhea that one time and basically was like, just being there, acknowledged that she's the future of this essence, of this darkness type thing. So, yeah.
And one last point before I transition here is, you said Undertaker with Rhea, but we also saw it with Kevin Nash and Raquel.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole big sexy thing now with
big
Raquel.
Sexy. Yeah, at first I was like, "What? I don't get that. Like, why is she doing it?" But now it makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Kevin Nash telling her, "Hey, embrace it.
Yep.
This is you. Be you."
And when someone like that again gives their blessing, cool, you're good, right? You're good. Like good. Yep. So,
but the fact that we saw Oba come out during the Seth Rollins thing, because we all thought Seth Rollins was going to have something to do with the Vision at WrestleMania when he came back. But now with Bronson, all of them being injured, we didn't know where they were going to go with Seth Rollins feuding with somebody that had something to do with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
We expected it to be Brock.
Yeah.
So now that Oba's accepted the open challenge for Mania against Brock, where do we see Seth Rollins going?
Yeah, I mean, does this mean
have a match at Mania? Is he? I don't know if he's medically cleared to even wrestle.
That's one big question, right? I mean, do we see Seth take on Logan Paul and work his way up the division, kind of like take down the Vision one by one?
I mean, we could, but
I don't know. I think that's too low hanging fruit for Seth.
Yeah, I don't like Logan Paul anyway.
I think what we might see with Oba coming out to face Brock is what we might see is Seth Rollins in that manager position behind Oba.
Could.
Supporting him, right? I think that would make sense, especially if Seth isn't cleared to be in the ring. That might be the next best thing was him saying, hey, you need to be a part of this. Because I think Seth's going to build a new faction. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think, he's going to be looking for guys like, hey, I saw what you did to Brock out there. Do you want to, I need people like you type thing.
Does Seth's hatred for Punk lead to a Shield reunion temporarily?
I don't know, man, because Seth and Roman have had that rub the past few times that they've been on PLEs together.
But they've always been, they've still had, they may have had that rub. They may have had, that, feud a little bit, but they've always had that mutual respect for each other.
Yeah.
And that's why a couple years ago, Seth stepped up to help. So,
I think we might see something in that storyline that could make sense, which I think might lead into something in the future of Seth versus Roman, because we haven't really seen a true Seth versus Roman feud.
Not in a long time.
Yeah. And I think it's maybe it's time because the Shield's been brought up a lot recently.
Yep.
So it might be time for them to kind of wrap that storyline up one-on-one with them.
And I'm wondering they could completely do a full twist here. And like we thought Austin Theory could be, working for Seth Rollins in the Vision. That's why he came out. But you could have Roman, Rollins, and Austin Theory taking the spot for Jon Moxley and have that 3-person.
You could.
I don't know how much that works, but
what's up, Daniel? Welcome to the chat.
What's up, Daniel?
So I think there are definitely some angles that we could go with Seth's story.
But is there any that you actually would buy into or care about enough to enough to say, oh, this is my match during Mania that I'm going to go use the bathroom?
I don't think there's a match right now that Seth would be in that would get me excited or enticed, for it at Mania. So I really think it's going to be a lot of setup, right? I think we're going to see Seth, maybe SummerSlam is where we're going to see Seth's story take the next level of matches, right? Maybe we'll see something at Backlash involving Seth. Because then we can do story from now until WrestleMania.
In the bank.
Yeah.
Again.
No.
What, fourth time, third time? I don't fucking know how many.
No. That's another conversation we'll have as our predictions for Money in the Bank. But no, I think what we'll see is the Seth story continue to build and through Mania. And I think Mania is going to have some sort of pivotal moment with Seth to further the story. And then really building towards SummerSlam being the Seth Rollins storyline from now until then. That would make sense.
And are we going to see Seth stay face, or are we going to see him turn heel?
Is he really face right now?
He's kind of on the cusp.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him go heel in terms of he's going to do whatever he needs to do to get that belt, because that's his focus right now, man. He is so just hurt because of the injuries and the title being basically stolen from him, right? So I think he's going to come back, and we're just going to have that. I think we're going to have that unhinged Seth Rollins that just will do anything he needs to get the championship and be on.
And I think that's what's going to hinder his, if he is medically cleared, I think his being injury prone the last year and a half, 2 years is going to hinder what creative wants to do with him.
Yeah.
Because I think they might, and this is where I think your Logan Paul or even an Austin Theory option might come into play. Throw him into a small storyline that's not gonna affect the world title or some big long running story that they have planned out for the next year.
Yeah.
Because if he gets injured again, throw him in a small storyline with like Logan or Austin just to make sure he's ready to come back.
Yeah.
And make sure he's not going to hurt himself again.
Because he has some pretty bad injuries. And I think it's
going to stop doing that standing moonsault off the fucking middle rope, and that's how he injured himself twice. Well, sorry. Yeah,
watch Unreal. Watch Unreal.
That was a fake injury.
But
then he came back and injured himself for real. That's karma for you. That's karma
did he though? Did he? Is he really injured?
That's karma for
We
you,
don't know
Seth.
anymore now. Is it real or not?
You fake an injury, Seth. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, I love Seth. I think he's a great character. I think he really excels. I don't necessarily. I don't want to sound wrong. I don't necessarily care much to see him wrestle. He's not a bad wrestler by any means.
Right.
But I think I really enjoy Seth when he's in those story positions, right? He's a very good storyteller, and he's very good at like creating tension and just like furthering conflicts and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm good if they just continue to work him into storylines, right? Like people have been like, oh, it's kind of hokey with the whole mask thing. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. Like we got to remember that wrestling can be a little cheesy at times.
I find it hilarious that they all come out to try to pretend to be Seth, to say which one's Seth, but then they have this 300-pound black dude. They have this other, big ass dude. Yep. It's like,
I think it's fun. I think it's a fun angle, right? It puts a little bit of humor in a serious storyline.
I want them to like have big dudes, little dudes, have like freaking Hornswoggle come out in a mask. Also, which one's Seth? We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to it,
but
yeah, hasn't been bad. I've enjoyed it. So we'll see what they do leading up to Mania.
One thing that I'm torn on is the ending of SmackDown. Is it just me, or when Randy was beating the hell out of Cody, were the fans cheering?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing, because you've got it titled a Randy heel turn. Is it really a Randy heel turn?
That's my point.
Or is this just Randy being Randy?
It's
right. Because it's the voices in his head. He's always had that going, right?
But who was he on the phone with that said thank you for he thanked them for making him listen again or turning him back into
his reminding him that there's more than one royal family?
Is it Kevin Owens? Oh no, it was more. Yeah, that's right. It was more than one royal family. Who is that?
Which listen, I think the first thing that people thought initially was The Rock.
Yeah.
I think that's the easy one to say it's The Rock.
But I mean.
There's history. There's history there.
But The Rock, and this is one of the rumors I was going to bring up, but since you already, teased to it, one of the things that I've seen online, obviously not rumors, nothing, it's more fan speculation.
Yeah.
Is The Rock coming back because he did that thing with Cena to take out Cody because Cody didn't give his soul to The Rock.
Yeah.
Maybe The Rock is now working with Randy.
It's possible. And I think what we're going to see is, okay, so there's this thing with Randy. I don't know if Randy's going to be a true heel. I think it's just Randy, right? Because at the end of the day, Randy wants gold. Randy's been eyeballing that championship since Cody had it on his shoulder the first time. They've got the history, they've got the legacy. So I think we're going to see Randy aggressively go after it because at the end of the day, he just wants that title. He wants it. He doesn't care. So I don't know if we'll ever see him. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we'll ever see him go like full heel in that sense because Randy is kind of that heel that everybody loves. Yeah. He's got those heel tendencies. But what I think we're going to see is Cody go heel.
That's because what I'm thinking.
With all the betrayal, right? Cody's been slowly losing all of his allies. He lost, Jay. He lost Sammy now. Like he's been really mean towards Sammy. So he's losing a lot of those people that were on his side and in the ring. He's kind of crapped on him, just been like a dick to him.
What if we see The Rock come out at Mania because we saw kind of that whole Golden Boy thing. Me, you, and Alex were talking about it that night.
Yep.
Wonder if he's going to lean into that more. And he was dressed a little. He always dresses in suits and looks good, but he was dressed a little differently backstage before that final contract signing on SmackDown. But what if he finally behind the scenes did give his soul to The Rock to get everything he wants?
Maybe. And that could also lean into why he's losing all of the people around him, right? Because he's shutting down to them because he has to in order to do what he has to do. That's why I really do think we're going to see Cody go heel. And I think what it's going to lead up to is whether or not he's sold his soul to The Rock finally, I think what's going to happen is he's going to break because of all these relationships that have broken down and that he's lost, right? He's just going to get to that point where he snaps. And I think the Randy thing might be that icing on the cake that causes him to fully snap going into Mania or at Mania. And then if The Rock is involved, I think we're going to see him come out with Randy and maybe, either behind Randy or again with Cody and giving him again the chance. Cody, are you going to join us? And then we see Cody turn on Randy fully and just beat him. So whether or not Randy's going to win the title, I don't know. I think it could be something where maybe Randy does win the title and The Rock comes out and you find out that, Cody made a deal. I don't know. There's a few ways that it could go.
My thing is, and this is pure fan booking here and me wanting something I know I'll never see. Years ago, AEW, we saw Cody Rhodes take a sledgehammer to a throne that was a symbol of Triple H, because Triple H's big thing was a sledgehammer back in the day. We all know that. And he took a throne or a sledgehammer to Triple H's throne with AEW to symbolize AEW crushing WWE. And we know The Rock is an executive for TKO. Triple H is lifelong WWE.
Yeah.
I would love to see The Rock, this storyline with Cody aligning with The Rock and being like the corporate
Cody.
And then you have Triple H feuding and saying, we can't do that. And then Triple H finding someone like, what if it was Triple H telling Randy that there's more than one royal family?
That's a good point.
Triple H comes from that McMahon family now. Granted, he's not McMahon blood, but he's now on that side.
Yeah.
And Triple H and The Rock now feud through Cody and Randy.
I think that could be a good angle because we did start seeing that tension and animosity building a few WrestleManias ago between Rock and Triple H. That could be a good angle because we know that they're putting a lot more into long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting to see. But I think that would be a good angle, right? Because I really do feel like if anybody is going to stay aligned with Triple H, it's going to be Randy.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't see Randy selling out The Rock
coming back and buying WWE.
Because I can't really think of like what other royal families are there, right? Like, I mean, the obvious answer is the Samoan bloodline, their royalty.
Randy.
Yeah, Randy. Is Randy really royalty? Because I mean, I know Cowboy Bob Orton was highly revered and respected, but are they really considered royalty? Like the Rhodes family?
Not as big as like the Rhodes or the McMahons.
Yeah.
Or the Flairs.
Yeah.
What if it was Ric Flair on the phone with Randy? What if it was Ted DiBiase Jr.? He took a freaking break.
I heard somebody say that. Yeah, I heard somebody say that. I just can't really think of any other royal families that would like really fit into.
But what if it wasn't somebody that came from a royal family? What if it was someone from Randy Orton's past or a good friend like a Kevin Owens that was there to remind him, hey, this is who you are. This is where you come from. Because he never said that person he was talking to was from a royal family. They just reminded him.
Yeah. I don't know. Or maybe reminding him that, hey, he can establish that legacy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Got Uncle Howdy from a wrestling family.
I don't know. I think that it would be weird to kind of tie him now into that main storyline when he's still got the weird stuff going on with the bloodline. Yeah.
It's
Rikishi. Rikishi on the phone.
Oh God, kill me. Yeah, there's a lot they can do here with this storyline and haven't been many. There's been a few that I've said over the last couple of years that there's been storylines where I can't predict. But this one with Randy and Cody is kind of up in the air for me.
Yeah. They've done a good job creating conversation with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Roman Reigns CM Punk, I'm already going to predict, and I got money on Roman Reigns is going to win the championship.
Yeah, I think so. Because there's already rumors that Punk's looking to take time off anyway. But I think Roman's going to get it.
this story with Cody and Randy are the only two. And I would love to see Cody come out with the black hair again.
I think it could happen. I think we might see Stardust again.
The only thing I'm worried about is if him being a heel, WWE doesn't want to do that because of how much money he makes.
I don't think so. I think because Cody's gotten so over as a face, I think that he could be a heel that still brings in the money. Because I think, again, we've seen that Triple H is trying to listen to the fans. The writers are trying to listen to the fans more, except Bruce Pritchard and Chelsea Green, but that's a whole other conversation.
He apologized.
He did, because Taker put him in his place.
Oh, God, yeah.
Watch that interview if you haven't. Watch it on 6 Feet Under, man. Taker, woo! Again, it's Taker, right? You don't disrespect Taker. If Taker has an opinion, his opinion, the man knows the business. The man knows people. But that was such a great moment. But we've seen that they do listen to the fans. And, you know, I think the fans have been tired of face Cody. We've been wanting heel Cody, and we've been getting these glimpses of what a heel Cody could look like. So I absolutely think, I mean, The Rock was heel and his merchandise sold like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a compelling enough character that I think we're going to see heel Cody, and he will be a seller. He will be somebody we want to see win the championship, because Roman was a heel and everybody loved Roman, right? So I think if it's done right, which they've been doing a good job of setting up that story, I think heel Cody makes sense, because again, if he loses the title, or he doesn't win he loses the title, it's going to cause him to crack, right? It's building up with all these relationships that he's lost and the stuff with Randy now. Like I think that's the big one. That's it. That's the one's going to break him right there, is Randy's betrayal. And then if he loses the title, man, we're going to see him snap. So we might not see heel Randy or heel Cody at Mania, but we will after that. And it's going to be the next run.
I think we could see, like you said, him snap after he loses the title at Mania to Randy. But I think long term, we're going to see heel Cody versus Roman at Mania next year for a tiebreaker. Because they've each won one.
Yeah.
In their WrestleMania matches.
Yep. That would make sense.
And then you have heel Cody versus Roman.
Yeah.
And that would lead up to The Rock being on Cody's side against Roman, which will lead into the Tribal Chief versus what was The Rock's status above?
The High Chief, yeah.
High Priestess.
High Priestess. Yeah, the High Chief was his thing.
High Chief, that's what
I think we're still going to see that. I think we're going to see that story kind of come back into play. I hope
so, because we've been wanting it for years, and WWE has not. They've teased it, but never gave it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, like you said, I like your angle too, thinking about TKO versus WWE, right? Corporate versus tradition. Like, I think that's a very strong feud that you can build, because then you're also expanding outside of the ring feud. You're expanding into that bigger world. And that's something WWE has been trying to do, is push these feuds into the real world. So we've been seeing these feuds on social media and stuff like that. And so and the wrestlers have been doing a great job too of carrying those stories into the everyday life and bringing that. It's funny because like people talk about how kayfabe is dead, but I think we're seeing the evolution of kayfabe, and wrestlers are coming up with new ways to draw us into the story and to keep us hooked throughout the week. So it's not just Monday to Monday, Friday to Friday, event to event. Now it's like we're looking at things, we're talking about things, they're doing things on social media, and they're keeping people engaged in the brands throughout the week. What?
WWE versus TKO.
Okay.
They do a match for ticket prices. If WWE wins, ticket prices go down.
Oh my goodness.
If TKO wins, ticket prices go up 10%.
Bro. And we won't get into this in detail, but listen, we mentioned it earlier. Those ticket prices are wild.
Oh my god.
And they're so bad. The WrestleMania sales are so bad. They've dropped them by 25%. I think they've dropped them even more now. Now the cheapest ticket for Mania is like $250. Yep. So like they're got to do something. I mean, you're going to make money off merch, right? Again, we've talked about this before. Get people into the show. They're going to spend money on merch. They're going to spend money on everything else.
Hold on. Cheapest option for Mania tickets is between $177 and $285 per night in the nosebleeds.
Okay.
Lower level is $1,000 to $1,500. Floor seats, not even in the first couple rows, just
4,000
seats, $1,700 to $4,000.
Okay.
Ringside within the first 3 rows, $11,500
Oh,
up to $80,000.
80. Is that resale for 80?
No, that's because they're going to do
that's that whole experience thing.
Yeah, those
experience. But still, like, again, and this is one thing I will give Vince credit for, is that WWE was meant to be enjoyed by everybody. And
there's a family.
Yes, and it was family entertainment, right? Everybody was supposed to have access to it, and it wasn't supposed to be a premium prestige event. And I think that's what I'm disappointed about, because I would go to more live shows if they weren't so crazy. I mean, we went to the live shows and we've sat in decent seats, and I think we spent almost $200 a piece for those seats.
Well, when we went to the SmackDown and Raw in New York and then Boston, those seats were only like $140 a piece.
Which those were resales, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because Rachel found those. Like, she kept looking and found really good deals on them. And but the thing is, right, like, you want people to go to your events, man. You got to learn, especially in Vegas. You're telling us you're going to put on PLE in Vegas, which is one of the most expensive cities. Then people have to go, not only travel to get there, but hotels and all that stuff. Like, if they were smarter with their marketing, and this is me being in the marketing creative industry, the way you should do it, WWE, is make the tickets more accessible and enticing, and then put on more events during that week or weekend to get people there and charge for those. Because then people can pick and choose what they want to do, not just signings and stuff like that, but like come up with some really cool events, right? Like shows with the different wrestlers or things like that, right? Like the One Dead Man show, stuff like that. There's plenty of people out there that would pay money to go see these superstars in a more intimate setting.
I don't know how ticket sales work, and especially with live venues like, whatever the name of that stadium is in Vegas.
The Allegiant.
Allegiant Stadium, yeah. But a portion of those ticket sales have to go to the venue.
Yeah.
But merch goes more to the company.
Yep.
Give yourself lower ticket prices. Give the fans more money to spend on merch. I'm just
especially since you're doing 2 nights. But here's the other thing. That's a good argument. But at the same time, look at other events that are at Allegiant Stadium. They don't charge those excessive prices for their events. And they're not like crappy events either. They're like big mainstream events, concerts and things like that. You're not paying.
The Raiders are you said good events, my bad.
But like concerts and stuff, right? You're not paying $80,000 for seats to a concert.
Right.
I mean, some tickets are expensive in Vegas, but like expensive there, from what I remember when I went out for concerts and stuff, was like $300, $400 for like the really good seats.
Yeah.
So that, like, again, I guarantee you, with the deal that TKO has to put Mania on in Vegas for the 2nd year in a row, I guarantee you they've already paid a substantial amount of money for that, because Vegas knows how much revenue that could bring into their city. Right, because that's really what it's about. It's about boosting the revenue of that city, like the Super Bowl. So we know that ticket prices do not have to be in the thousands, multiple thousands of dollars for an event. Right. We know that they can be less than that.
Speaking of concerts, when I went, when me and Lauren were still together, I took her to see the Backstreet Boys in Vegas when they had their residency there. Mm-hmm. Got her the full VIP experience. Got to spend a couple hours with the Backstreet Boys backstage, all the fun bells and whistles of all that VIP stuff. Tickets for that, for hotel, airfare. We did a few other things that week. We even went to freaking dinner at Hell's Kitchen in Vegas. And I didn't even spend $4,000 for all of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's my thing, right? I say, like, look, make the nosebleeds $100, $150 per seat. That's fine, because then people could still easily get in, right? It's not unattainable for a family of 4 that wants to go see, because again, you get in, you're there. It's the experience of being in the atmosphere. Then the next section, go ahead and make those $200-$300. I mean, so if you're paying $150 for a normal show, then fine, charge $300-$400. That's fine for a premium event. Double the prices. I don't care. But when you start getting into the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, the
per
closer
night
you get, per night, the closer you get, that's when we're getting a little ridiculous. Like it doesn't make sense. And again, you're going to make more money lowering the ticket prices, selling merch and experiences. You know, that's where your money is going to come from, right? Like, and then get better with your merch, have exclusive stuff for WrestleMania, exclusive things you can only get at Mania, more exclusive things versus just a t-shirt. And you will make the money, right?
Yeah.
It's marketing. Like you got to know how to merchandising. And, you know, and there's the ways that they can make money. And I guarantee you they're not losing any money to begin with.
Right. Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it's just, guys, WWE.
Yep.
Stop with the greed. Let's TKO. Let's stop with the greed and try to get people in the door instead of alienating all your fans and turning this into the Super Bowl. Only the rich people can go.
We had this discussion before on here. You start alienating your fans now, that next generations of fans, we're not going to raise them as WWE fans because we can't afford to be WWE fans at this point.
Listen, the economy's not amazing right now, so dropping $5,000 on a seat, not attainable for most people, right? Like the average person
buy groceries or go to a WWE event or buy groceries for 3 months. Or
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. In the nosebleeds.
Yeah. See, I remember growing up in Norfolk, down in Virginia, when WCW would come. You know, all of that. We would go every other, or at least they would come every month. We would go every other month, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we would have a blast. And that's why I'm still a fan today, because I was able to experience that as a kid and it grew with me.
I would go every time they were within 2 hours of me if they weren't expensive. Because again, I don't mind going and paying a couple $100 for a hotel room for the night and, you know, a couple $100 for a WWE experience. Because again, I go, Rachel and I are each going to buy at least one t-shirt, if not 2 shirts. We're going to buy food. We're going to buy all that stuff. Like if they've got a cool Rey Mysterio mask, I'm going to buy it. So like, and it's the experience, right? WWE and the live experiences have brought Rachel and I closer together. Was that because that was something we didn't even realize we had in common.
Yeah. And
so it's helped us just get closer as a couple. And what's so funny is, I want to throw this out there, is because when Elimination Chamber, when that happened, we had her family over, like, hey guys, we're doing Elimination Chamber, come over and hang out and watch the Chamber with us. I did not realize how big of a wrestling fan her mother was. I always thought it was her dad that got her into wrestling. It's their mom. Like her mom is the one that got them into wrestling, and her mom was like into it too. Like, so it was really cool to see. But again, generations, right? You're building fans and so just come on, TKO. Let's figure this out. Get with the program. That's my 2 cents from Mat Chat.
Yep.
Our huge following will influence them to lower the ticket prices.
Yes. No one else can. It's us.
No. And Danhausen, if you watch this podcast, get on here. Let's talk.
Yeah. Even if you don't, get on here. Let's talk.
Or you
are cursed.